Yeah. We didn't go an hour like what the fuck like. Yeah. All right, so count it off. Get hype.
No, put the gun down. I mean,
I just issued the grenade.
Witness!
There goes our free show.
All right.
Got it. Hello and welcome to the Graphic Ramblers podcast, where we discuss comics and all things nerdy. We had some technical difficulties just now.
This is actually the second time.
This is round two. We only got 10 minutes last time, but I am your host Mark with
Nellii,
Matt,
and Science Officer Chris.
Hello again.
It's just a recording. He's not really here.
there is no Science Officer Chris.
Oh wait, but they saw him in the video.
If it wasn't for the video,
hologram.
which one is doing the voice?
That's the physical manifestation of the machine, Science Officer. But yes, we are back with episode 4. See, this time I can say whatever I want because I already rehearsed it kind of, and it'll sound natural. We are back with episode 4 of our podcast. And we are doing Gotham Academy.
Yay!
We're doing Volume 1, which is the collection of issues 1 through 6, written by Becky Cloonan and Brenden Fletcher. Art by Karl Kerschl, epilogue and flashback art by Mingju Helen Chen. Colors by Geyser, Dave McKay, John Rauch, Masasic, Serge LaPont, and Mingju Helen Chen. Letters by Stephen Wands. Cover art by Karl Kerschl. And original series cover art by Becky Cloonan and Karl Kerschl. So that's Gotham Academy, Volume 1. What happens in the book is, summer is out and school is in session at Gotham Academy, the most prestigious school in Gotham City, and only the best and brightest attend there. They explore and they live in the spooky, place that school is.
Hashtag too spooky for you.
Yeah, because school is spooky, because
it's terrifying.
Yeah, it still is. I still get nightmares about it. The series focuses on Olive Silverlock, who's recovering from a crazy summer involving a breakup, showing a new student named Matt Mizoguchi the ropes, and she also happens to be the younger sister of her ex-boyfriend.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun! I could just edit the sound effect. I shouldn't have done that. Punk rock. In the midst of all this, some strange happenings are afoot in the halls and grounds of Gotham Academy. Ghosts, secret societies, and all that other weirdness that comes with adolescence, because, puberty and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And ghosts.
Yeah, and ghosts.
Isn't that part of puberty?
Yeah.
Hashtag too spooky for you.
Stop trying to make that thing.
It is a thing.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Hormones and something.
Haunted hormones. Haunted by hormones. Big band name alert. So we're going to talk about the creative team.
First, now we're past the spoiler-free part, guys. Go pick up the book.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it.
Pause it and come back.
Go hit Amazon or Comixology or your local comic book store if you're so inclined.
We'll put in a link for Comixology,
Yeah.
a link for Amazon if you want to direct because you're antisocial like me,
Mm-hmm.
or a comic book store because you should support your local comic book store.
Yeah, we gotta keep them open, guys.
Yeah.
Without them, we don't do this show.
Exactly.
We go there a lot.
More so than we should.
So, I would like to start off with Mr. Brenden Fletcher.
Yeah, you would. Sorry, man.
It's okay. I feel the same way.
It's okay. All I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys go look him up on the Googles,
Handsome
he
bearded fellow.
is a handsome bearded pepper-beard fellow, and he's Canadian.
Who doesn't
And the
love
boots
Canadian?
is all there.
But we actually met him at WonderCon after watching him on panels all weekend. He was super nice.
He was
I was
sweetest.
not there. I should point this out.
Right. This is
I was at home.
pre-podcast.
This is pre-podcast hang. So I was just getting live feeds from their Instagram and Facebooks and whoever I was following.
Yeah.
I think when I told you about it, I was telling him about how we also met at the tower, but I didn't distinguish the two. He's like, and I was like, yeah, he was really nice.
point, I was like, wait, Bab Stars, man, I follow her on Instagram.
Matt, your storytelling must be real bad.
No, I just had bad listening skills that day. So.
It might have just been a little bit of both, let's be honest.
But anywho.
He was super sweet. Matt saw him walking on the floor the last hour.
After we'd seen him on like 3 panels that weekend.
Only 3?
Well, there was Batman, Nerdist, and Nerdist Writers panel, which you can go download at their website.
There was the
super
one,
great interview.
the one before that didn't have anything to do with Nerdist.
That was 3.
Oh yeah.
That's 3. And then we met him.
Yeah.
Our 4th interaction.
Yeah. He was super cool. I was decked out in my homemade Harley Quinn cosplay to add on when I met him.
That must be a really interesting story he has now. So the Joker and Harley Quinn just followed me around WonderCon.
For reference, Matt was the Joker.
We'll post pictures of all of the
Joker.
shenanigans.
You were also a good Harley Quinn.
I just look like I ate too many donuts. Anyway, yeah, no, he was super cool and super genuine and did an amazing kawaii peace sign in the picture.
Like Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. We'll post a picture of that on the
we'll tweet it at you again, B. Fletcher. That's what I call him.
Which he responded back to the first time we actually tweeted at him.
He was like, yeah, you guys were great, thanks.
That was enough to
oh
my god, he heard me.
Well, did I ever, and I don't think I mentioned, I actually, once Matt was like, oh, hey, you're Brenden Fletcher, whatever, blah, blah, I was like, yeah, I've been stalking you all WonderCon. Didn't turn him off, so, woohoo!
No, he knew you were joking. He was just like super like, oh man, everybody here's so nice. And we were talking about it recently before the podcast. I was like, was this like one of his first like American shows? I hope he made a good first impression. Like, it
could have been because his big comic book fame just barely started. Gotham Academy, Batgirl, and now with Black Canary.
What about before that?
He did like some indie stuff with the artist of this book, Karl Kerschl. He said they've been friends since like high school.
Yeah, he did some stuff for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah.
And also,
if you remember the Wednesday comics that DC did, he did a Flash story with Karl Kerschl in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
cool. So he's done some work. He's written, and he's
also
he's in a band
really
as well.
That they're getting.
Yeah, he's in a band. He mentioned that in one of the panels, and I was like, oh my god, you're even cooler. You play instruments?
I did the same thing. Much earlier.
I can see that.
Yeah, I know.
He's kind of my type.
Your type is you.
Taller than me.
Was he taller than you?
I think he was about my height, probably.
A little shorter.
Really? I didn't stand next to him, but...
well, no. Now looking back at that picture, he is mighty tall.
Yeah.
Or I'm just short, one or the other.
It could just be the blinding majesty of seeing someone you're in love with. Like when I saw Gwendolyn Christie last year at Kamikaze, I was just like, oh my god, I am before a goddess. I can't, like, if I ever close my eyes, it'll burn out. So, yeah, it could just be the majesty of their radiance. Like,
it's true. And he rocks an awesome jean jacket, is all I have to say. All weekend long, he was rocking an awesome jean jacket.
He looked cool.
Yeah, no, he looked like...
Well, was there a jukebox? It was just like 8 squares.
There could have been.
Well, he could have just stole it from, what is it? The jukebox,
Stormtrooper. B-Boy Stormtrooper.
It could have just been like, drop the beat.
It was a good weekend.
That sounds like a crazy weekend.
But no, he had more relevant than just like, oh my god, we love him. Yeah. He had some like really cool stuff to say about the series and like the conception of the characters that we'll probably get into a little more as we talk about them.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
my favorite character. But
which happens to be his favorite character because he's from
Miss Maps.
Maps is a cool character. Yeah, I thought.
But no, he's a super interesting fellow to listen to, and if you guys want to look up any of like the podcasts that came out of
we'll post a link to at least to the Nerdist Writers panel, or you can look it up. It's Nerdist Writers Panel Comics Edition 76.
I'm sure we'll find a video on
we'll get to
YouTube of it.
And if you listen hard enough, you can hear me yelling.
At the very beginning. She goes, woo, woo, woo.
Or something.
Yeah.
I'm the one yelling.
Was there anything relevant, like,
talking about, like, him kind of talking about, like, his characterization of things and, like, his view on, like, on the Bat family.
Yeah.
I think what he talked about comes through really strongly in this, in the way that, like, a lot of the characters are very sympathetic. Even, like, spoiler alert, Killer Croc is in this book.
Yeah.
And even he comes across, like, a person and a character instead of just big monster for Batman to fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stuff that he's interested in, even if you look at, like, Batgirl. Like,
I think that is interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool to root for both sides.
Yeah.
And at the same time be torn apart by your appreciation for both sides.
It's the Civil War, like, that viewpoint is, like, it's sort of like Marvel's Civil War, where you're like, well, no one's wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a good one.
And I did want to mention, this panel happened around the time the whole, like, Batgirl Joker situation happened, and he gave such a, like, diplomatic answer to that question, and if we can find that actual panel, we'll put it up, because it was really interesting the way he put it about, and he's like, we can move past this, you know.
I understand why it bothered people, but I also understand that the reaction of them being bothered wasn't okay, and, like, he just said exactly what needed to be said, and everyone was like, oh. Yeah, it was actually genuinely satisfying, as opposed to DC's like, oh, just cause. Like,
yeah, no, definitely. If because I was cringing at the fact that someone was bound to bring it up, obviously, because he writes Batgirl and Babs draws Batgirl. Yeah. And it was just great. I started clapping the minute he stopped talking. Yeah. Everyone came in with me, and I was like,
it's a great interview. Give it a listen. Especially if you're reading any of his books, you'll be like, oh, wow, he really sums up exactly what he wants to, like, you to see and stuff.
I do hate to say this, but enough of Brenden Fletcher. How about Miss Becky Cloonan?
I have loved Becky Cloonan for years, guys. Oh. I remember in high school, I used to have a subscription to Wizard magazine, which is a really old sentence. Like, yeah, I had a print magazine in high school.
Well, I'm sure everybody knows that.
Those were expensive, though. I remember they were like $6. Like,
I was glad I had a subscription.
Yeah, I didn't have a subscription. I would go to the mall and, like, go to
what I did before. I got it for, like, my birthday. But they brought up her book with Brian Wood, Demo, which is amazing. And you should go buy. And I was just like, oh my god. She was like the first, like, it's gonna make me sound bad, but like the first, like, time I was, like, aware of, like, women in comics, and it just, like, blew my mind that someone this talented was more famous, which kind of opened my eyes to, like, oh man, the industry's shitty in that way. But it's an amazing book, and, like, I just fell in love with her, and she's done so much other amazing stuff.
She was the first woman to draw Batman.
She did, for the main Batman title, she's the only woman that's ever drawn it.
Yeah, in 2012?
She did the backup stories in Scott Snyder's Batman. Yeah. With him and James Tynion IV is who writes the backups with him, I think.
Chris, could verify that for us? I don't have that memorized off the top of my head.
I really love Scott Snyder's Batman.
I love the work, but then I don't go into the details sometimes. Only for this is how I'm learning. I personally didn't know Becky Cloonan, both professionally or personally. I just follow her on Instagram. But doesn't she also do?
That's Danger Days of Journal.
Yeah.
She drew that.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah, I mean, my exposure to her was very limited up until this. I mean, I've seen, like, cute things here and there, but it was never something that I followed her like out of my way and stuff like other creators.
Which is weird because it's the same thing with me. I just recently picked up Danger Days, Killjoys. But she's actually worked everywhere. She was doing Tokyo Pop, Vertigo. She's worked with DC. She's worked with Marvel.
She definitely helped, like, in the early 2000s, like, breaking in, like, manga and anime influence into, like, mainstream comics.
Oh, and it's very evident in this one.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Like, it was why I think she worked so, like, her scripting worked so well with Karl Kerschl. I think that's another interesting thing is, like, because both of the writers are artists, like Brenden Fletcher actually, I think he said he was just shy of a degree in art. He didn't wind up graduating, but like he drew comics for a while, like indie books. So I think the way that things flow in the story from a visual standpoint is really interesting. In a different way than like when like you see certain stories that are like from a writer that doesn't draw. It's not necessarily like bad or anything. I'm not trying to say that, just different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a writer that does not draw, and obviously, like, I've heard it from you and like other people I've worked with, where it's like, yeah, well, you could do it this is kind of. I mean, like, yeah, and just you guys have an eye that I don't, and like I've considered learning how to draw just so I can have that like that sense of storytelling visually.
It's
we
like
start
when you
with stick figures and make our way over to hand turkeys.
I'm just like,
it's doing whatever it wants.
I can't draw a straight line.
If you're a writer, it's worth taking like a storyboarding class at least, just because it's sort of like whenever they like most really good directors are like, oh yeah, I took an acting class once, because it just opens you up to the way it works. So I think like the way this book looks and flows is very different than a lot of other books on the shelf.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff with the panels and stuff, or the layouts, I would say.
Yeah, it's very manga-ish in some kind of way, but it's really aesthetically pleasing to look at the way it's set up.
This Kerschl, I wasn't familiar with Karl Kerschl, but he's like one of my new favorite artists.
Yeah, I went into this completely like blank, so
I didn't really know him before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Gotham Academy was like out. I knew about Batgirl, but I didn't know what Gotham Academy was until we saw that panel.
I did know about Gotham Academy, but I was too tied up with getting every single variant of Harley Quinn to actually pick up anything else around that time. And so
I knew about it when it came out, but it never like appealed to me, because I thought like, well, it's very in that like Harry Potter. Or
it's a tween book.
Yeah, it's a tween book, and it's in a boarding school, and it's about their adventures in boarding school and stuff. And like, maybe that's not. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's a really good book, but it just didn't jive with me personally. So it's like, oh, it's not much I can relate to and stuff.
See, I guess in my defense, I'm super into like girly, cutesy, like anime looking. So the cover at the comic book store would call my attention, and I'd always stop and look at it, and I'm like, that's real pretty, and then I'd walk away, because I was just like, no, I'm going straight to look at all of the Harley Quinn variants. But I'm kind of glad we actually got to hear Brenden Fletcher speak about it.
His pitch for it was perfect, because he told the way that Becky Cloonan pitched it to him and Karl Kerschl, which was, all right, so they want me to do a Batman book, but I don't want to do anything with Batman. Because he said like they were super stoked, and she's like, no Batman.
And well, they asked him, they're like, so how did you guys come up with the Gotham Academy? And he said that Becky just kind of slid a piece of paper over to him, and it just said Gotham Academy.
Which is like, it just has this wonderful ring to it. Like the book could have been about anything, and it still would have been like the best titled book ever.
I mean, it's very like vague, because Batman's not even in it, like, or he's barely in it, and even the times you think he's in it, it's not really him. Like, it's kind of like
he's only in it
once, maybe once or twice.
Bruce Wayne is in it.
Bruce Wayne is in it. Like, even then, like, he's not the focus of the story.
Oh, of course.
And like, you would think that maybe this doesn't come out to the end where it's Damian who joins Gotham Academy.
Giant, humongous spoilers.
Which is where they're at now, I believe. Like, it's still ongoing, right?
Yeah. If you guys watched our like YouTube video that we just came out, you guys know how hard we all heart Damian.
Yeah, my favorite.
Yeah, totally. Like I initially assumed that Gotham Academy, before I ever knew anything of it, I thought it would be like. It would be Damian or like the Robin, like it would kind of be more like an anthology kind of thing, like of their adventures in school.
I feel like that's the book DC thought they were getting, and then they got this.
Well, this is the neat thing. We got a good amount of new characters coming into the DC world.
Strong new characters.
Exactly, they're memorable at this point.
They're all like very well developed, I thought.
Yeah, at least a good handful of them.
It reminds me of It's nothing like it, but like the characters kind of make me think of what happened with Gotham Central. Yeah. About the police characters, where it's like the characters were so strong that even when the book ended, the characters just kept going.
Don't you ever say that this book's ever going to end?
I'm not trying to say that. And it's a much bigger hit than Gotham Central was. Although Gotham Central, amazing.
It's an amazing book. Actually, I was talking about like this with my friend John last night, who was our contest winner.
Congratulations.
He came to pick up his prize stuff, and he was asking about Gotham Central, and I talked about it with my artist David Moreno, I'm working on a thing right now. And they were all mentioning Gotham Central. It's kind of weird that this whole synchronistic thing. But yeah, like everyone's characters is very well developed, or are very well developed. Even the ones who aren't like in it that long. Like,
they're all aesthetically really
one of the things
to look
that
at.
I wrote down was like every character could carry their own book just from like the idiosyncrasies that I think come a lot probably from Kerschl.
Yeah.
Like the librarian. I want a whole book about that librarian. He's awesome.
Yeah. The one that looks like the Mad Hatter?
Yeah. He's in like
the Riddler, like to me.
He's in like 5 panels, and I'm like, I would read a comic book about this.
Everyone's so like visually, they leave an impression.
It reminded me of, because I just found out last night that Nellii had never seen Django Unchained.
Oh wow!
So we watched it.
Well, no, I didn't want to watch it because I have my own.
It's uncomfortable at some point. So
No, I don't like Jamie Foxx, and I'm sorry if people hate me. I've heard he's a douchebag from like people that have actually had interactions with him, and not wrecking or bashing on him or anything. Like I'm cool with him, whatever. And
I don't like him, but I'm cool with it.
I love Tarantino so much, but it just didn't seem like it was up my alley per se versus like, you know, Kill Bill or just anything that has to do with that. Now that I watched it, it's not my favorite, but it was entertaining to watch. I have a new love, which is like the older version of Brenden Fletcher.
He does kind of look like Brenden Fletcher.
Christoph Waltz.
Oh my god! I like have.
I'm not attracted to any of these dudes, so I'm just trying to figure out.
He's mighty attractive in this movie.
Yeah.
Because in Inglourious Basterds, I'm just like, nah, that guy's a bastard.
That's white beard.
Matt pointed out my
guy. I
type.
might have a beard.
Tall white men with beards. That doesn't matter.
He's like 5'8".
Put him on platform shoes.
Yeah, it's all good, you know.
You can stand on a little box screw or you but I would compare it to that. Like there's a lot. Like every character in Django Unchained is that way too. Like there's the woman who's just like part of the like evil gang of slave traders who wears a mask and carries an axe, and you're like, I want that guy's movie. Like
I like Tarantino's. My favorite line in that movie is Tarantino as the Australian slave master, and he's like, "Who the fuck is Smitty McCall?"
It's not my Maggie.
Oh man,
Travis.
Okay, we got this.
Okay,
so we'll continue with that one. We had technical difficulties with our computer, but luckily we were on the backup.
I don't know how much I need to delete to be able to.
It'll be fine. Like we'll just continue with this one. So
I don't know what to do. Sorry, guys. I let everyone down.
You're oh my goodness, you're fine, Matt.
It's all right. Matt's crying his eyes out right now.
So if like the quality of this isn't too par as usual,
we're recording on our backup microphone. That we're still figuring out.
We had a backup at least,
so we're gonna straighten it out. But back to this. We'll get back to this. What we were talking about. So Tarantino.
But no, just like that way of like your world feels more full if all of your characters are very distinct, and they do a really. And again, I think a lot of that is probably Kerschl with his visuals. And like his cues for like character entrances and things.
And I think the colors really like set a mood. They set like an atmosphere to the characters that really like they leave more of an impression. Like it's very like gothic, I would say. Like
but it's that what is it like what's the term like when goth is really bright?
Pastel goth?
Yeah, pastel goth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pastel goth.
Rainbow goth. I don't know.
No, it's pastel goth. It's still the same attire as gothic clothing, but it's in.
Well, I meant not necessarily like
you just put myself in Chris's mind.
It's an actual
real thing.
Yeah, no, I know what pastel goth is.
I meant like
I'm
gothic.
hard
I meant like
into
gothic
goth.
like literature and like storytelling and
no,
thematically
definitely.
and stuff. Not necessarily like the fashion aesthetic. I meant like the storytelling.
I meant like the color.
Like, well, I meant like just the design of the world and stuff. Like it feels very like this. It's like what page 5? I don't know.
It does seem very, how do I even put this? It reminds me a lot of Scooby-Doo just because aesthetically the places it's taking place in, like the haunted mansions and stuff.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah.
Like what the Scooby-Doo movie could have been.
They don't have a dog, but they have a map.
Yeah.
So there's no Scooby-Doo. It's a map.
Alright, if we're getting into characters, Maps, motherfucker.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
She's just a little bright ball of sunshine.
Yeah.
That drawing in the back that Kerschl did as like a warm-up or something. He drew her as Robin.
Oh, yeah.
We were saying she'd be a perfect Robin if Damien
Damien hadn't
ever decided
brought
to be
back,
Batman.
that would be.
She would have been a cool Robin with Dick Grayson, I think. Like if they had kept going with that, because then it would have been too like lighthearted crime fighters.
Having a good time.
It would have been like a Silver Age version.
Oh, that would have been cool. But yeah, Maps is my favorite. I think like everything about that character just works so well.
She's like she's the one I gravitated to the most. Because I mean, like I said, this wasn't really like my kind of a read and stuff, but I still enjoyed what it was. And I think Maps is like me as a child. Like
she's every nerd
as
a child.
Like she's like a huge like D&D fan.
Yes.
Like RPG and stuff. Like she even draws like or she paints in what is it, page 74, panel 1. She's drawing a beholder from Dungeons and Dragons, and like I knew what that was.
I didn't know what it was. I was like, wow, that's a talent.
Yeah, if you've ever seen, I'm sure maybe not everyone plays D&D, but most people have seen Futurama, where they go to the bureaucracy planet, and there's like a monster with like eyes. And stuff. That's a beholder. Anyway, because I am the beholder. But yeah, I noticed that they have like a lot of like cool pop culture references. Like they reference the Ghostbusters with Colton Rivera. It's like who's it? Rick Moranis' character, the Keymaster, and then like my favorite one was when Killer Croc is telling a story, but you hear the end of the story, and it's just like, and I hit him with a rock, and it's like the episode of Batman the Animated Series, I Almost Got Him, where they're just having poker and they're all telling their best Batman stories, all the villains. I thought that was really cool.
There's lots of fun stuff in this. If you're like a pop culture fan at all, it all works.
Yeah, it's very
none of it's too specific.
Yeah, it's very reverent of the Batman mythos, but it's not
afraid of the mythos.
Yeah,
it embraces it.
Yeah, and it's not controlled by it. Where it's like, oh, like this person needs to be here because their mom was a child. They also even managed to bring in Aunt Harriet, which I haven't seen from forever and stuff.
What was Aunt Harriet?
She's I think she's their dorm master or something. Like they're talking about Harriet and stuff. I'm like, is that Aunt Harriet? Like Aunt Harriet?
That would be great.
Yeah,
or at least it's a fun reference, even if it isn't her. Like,
and like that's like I thought that was really cool because it's like really old school obscure Batman references. Because not to get too into it, Aunt Harriet was with Batman.
Batman 66.
Yeah. Not only that, like the original Batman.
I thought she was an invention for the show because they wanted.
Didn't they have her? They had her.
They brought her into the comics because they were afraid of like,
Batman
was gay.
Right here, Aunt Harriet, when she's telling him, when she's talking
but they showed her, don't they? Like at some point. Anyway.
But that's a fun reference. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I thought that was really cool. They even referenced Twilight somehow.
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda, maybe sorta.
With the character Tristan Gray, which sounds like Christian Grey from Fifty Shades of Grey, which is still Twilight.
I just like that he's a reference to the Langstrom virus because that was a big plot in Jason Fabok's run on Detective Comics, and I like that run, but the backup stories are amazing in it, and they're all about Man-Bat. So just anytime that I can talk about Man-Bat, I get real excited now.
It was a fun reference. Like, I think the book is really cool. Like, there's a lot of like fun stuff, and it's very, it's for someone who wants, for like a non-fan, I guess, to get into it.
It's a really good introduction to like the Batman universe.
Yeah. Especially for someone who's not into superheroics, but they still maybe might like Batman or that kind of like teen drama, like CW kind of stuff, or like the Harry Potter type of mysteries. Like this is the bridge between like Batman and Harry Potter.
Oh, so like when you guys were saying like,
Scooby Doo.
oh, it looks like anime, I was like, no, it looks like Harry Potter. That's what I want to read it. Like,
it kind of reminded me of. Did you guys ever watch Legend of Korra? Or Avatar? It kind of reminded me of the art style from that. Which I was a huge fan of Legend of Korra. But yeah, it was very cool. Like I think visually, like it's so vibrant. Like
I think a good comparison for it would be the Alfonso Cuarón Harry Potter movie, the third one. The way that he treated like, why don't these kids dress like kids and like let them play with their uniforms? There's a lot of that in the comic. The use of the architecture as a character.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of that is present. Like,
the school is a character in itself because there's just so much to it, and it's the history, and it's connected to Arkham and all this. Like
so much.
It's something new also because Gotham Academy, like before this, I don't think any of us ever considered Gotham Academy like being a thing. I think, right? Like
I want to say they kind of make mention of like the night school in Gotham, but I don't know if they ever even called it Gotham Academy.
Yeah, by name or anything. Because I noticed that even in the book itself, I mean, I never had history of my hometown in school, but they have like they're in a class where they're learning about Gotham's history. And I assume this is a private school. Like
because she's there on like a scholarship.
Which I thought was cool, which makes sense. And Bruce Wayne has his cameo where he said he went there and stuff.
I think that her whole relationship with Bruce Wayne is brilliant because it plays into she thinks spoilers. She thinks Batman's a villain because he put her mom in Arkham Asylum. Yeah, because she was kind of maybe a supervillain. We don't know who. Yeah, Olive is the who has a thing against
not
Max.
Yeah, not Max. Yeah, Max is a huge like nerd. Like like if she met like Kamala Khan from the Marvel universe, they would be friends. They would be BFFs.
Yes. But Olive hates Batman. But I think the brilliant thing is like it's a nice way to show that Batman like really cares. Because even though he had to put her mom away, he knows it's gonna be tough for her. So he makes sure that
he's watching over her.
Yeah, he can look out for her and make sure she's okay. And like not in a way of like he's worried she's gonna become a villain. Like he cares.
Yeah.
I like how these spin-off books, these side stories, like this one is say Batgirl before the current run with Brenden Fletcher and the Gail Simone run. How like I think they all like tie into Batman, but just kind of like the other side of like seeing Batman as like the villain almost.
Look at the mythos from a different side. Like I love that.
Yeah, like here you have Olive who her mom is put away by Batman, and you understand like if your mom was put away by Batman,
you know what it is? It's that Mad Max effect right now. You know how in the new Mad Max movie, he's a side character. But
he's always been that. Like except in the first one, I think.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like Batman is only our way into it, and then we veer off. Like another one to compare to would be like Sandman, where like the opening issue of any Sandman arc is always like Morpheus. Who's that? And then like there's like 9 issues about a whole other character who wasn't even in the first issue. Like it feels like that.
Yeah, it's cool. I like seeing stories in a world from another character's perspective, besides the main one. I think
definitely.
It kind of reminds me of do you remember Marvel's Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek?
You could definitely compare like the superheroes are secondary.
Yeah, they're kind of like off in the distance, and it's about the people, you know, who these people their lives are affected by the other guy and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. So Batman, like it's a different side of Batman that I think you've rarely seen, especially from someone who's very more sympathetic than say like your common criminal or a supervillain, or his peer or something. And I thought that was very cool. Did you have
any information that? Nothing.
No.
Sorry, we're talking to Science Officer Chris.
We can talk about because I just love Matt. He did talk about where she came from.
He says that Brenden Fletcher.
Yeah.
He says that it was from a previous story he was writing that just never came about.
He couldn't work the character into the story or something.
Was it for a previous series or something?
Yeah, something he was like.
He was working on, but he really loved that character. So when he saw a chance to actually put that same character into this, maps happen.
Yeah, she's fully the heart of the book.
She works really well in this, I think.
Yeah.
Like, she is the good counterpoint to
It's the
Batman and
comic
Robin,
relief
yeah.
part of it, you know, kind of.
She's Bruce Wayne, and she's Dick Grayson. Like,
all of
Bruce Wayne and Max is Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
like,
she's the Robin to her Batman
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like it's weird. It's a nice foil, I would say, like to the Batman and Robin relationship.
At this point, have we mentioned that Olive actually has some type of pyro powers?
Maybe.
Well, no, because it's happened in like count.
The fireworks went off, but I thought it was.
No, because even back when they were doing when the cold part happened, she turns all into like. If you look at the panels, it looks like everything starts burning.
No, because she knocked over a candle.
I think that part is vague on purpose because you have to remember that was just like an issue, like a single issue. So it was vague on purpose.
Yeah. And
I think when you reading it as a whole, it can seem that way because you see later on that she does have pyrokinetic abilities. So you could make that connection, but it's still vague enough where.
Yeah, but the fire isn't hurting her. I see what you're saying. Yeah, in that way, she's maybe controlling it. Even if she didn't start it herself, she's in control of what the flames do.
Well, because you see how it wraps around her, and the more upset she gets about the situation,
that's true. Yeah.
To the point they had to throw water on her, and everything subdues down.
I didn't even. Yeah. There's some pretty great stuff.
So not.
Just good visual storytelling.
So pretty much nobody can think that it was something she was doing, but at the same time, anybody that was in that particular moment, they're like, she knocked something over. But when you actually look at it, just a tiny little bucket of water isn't going to turn off all of that fire.
True.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's pretty great.
And the more upset she gets is when the fireworks start to happen. That she starts catching everything on fire.
Well, I knew the fireworks was her.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they're still treating it vague enough that they could come up with an excuse for it.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, like, fake you out and be like, it's actually been Colton all along.
Yeah, because he stole the fireworks and stuff. And Colton,
or something like that.
Well,
I mean, they wouldn't.
Which we haven't mentioned Colton Rivera. He's another character. He looks like Rick Astley he looks like a redheaded Julian Casablancas from The Strokes.
Yeah. That's too cool for you, bro.
Yeah, and he's like an arms dealer in the context of the school. Like he sells fireworks and I assume like fake test answers and IDs. I knew a guy like that who sells chips. I got you, man.
I think there's some really great character design because you've got Ginger Julian Casablancas. You've got the Indian Morrissey.
Can I mention something that will be a dead giveaway about her powers thingy?
Okay.
Her eyes turn yellow every time fire comes about.
I thought that was the fire.
I thought it was a reflection.
Well,
I think it's vague enough.
Maybe
Matt and I are just so ignorant that we just don't notice these things. Like we just assume like.
But do you see? I don't know how to
I'm just
explain
trying
it.
to look where like the bigger story could go, not necessarily where it is.
Like you could say you could argue both, and like it does show at the end that she has pyrokinetic abilities, but like it's still so vague where it can seem like
it could go one way or another.
That's all they're keeping it vague enough. Yeah, I feel like the question's been answered, but they've kept it vague enough from a storytelling standpoint that they could give us a different answer if they wanted to.
And I guess that's the neat thing about this book. You can go about it whatever way you end up reading it.
It's a great jumping off point for a series.
And it's a good. It has a lot of reread value because you can notice, like Fight Club where it's like there's a twist and stuff, and you can reread it and see like, oh, okay, that was the clue. Like obviously I'm gonna go read it again, knowing what you just told me about her.
Now I'm already like, oh, read it.
But no, I did want to mention how neat her outfit was at the dance scene when
all the costumes.
Whose outfit?
Matt's outfit when she's all dressed up because her
roommate.
She goes with her
so she wears a suit.
Yeah, so they go like as a couple and stuff. And I thought that was cool.
Okay, I know I said before that I ship her and Damien real hard, but I also wouldn't mind if like Max became like queer
think
DC
Maps
is pretty good about that and would let it happen.
Yeah, so I think Maps is just so comfortable with herself that she
she
probably
doesn't
would
care,
date.
but-
She probably would date Damien and or
she's probably that kid.
yeah.
Like,
But like she's still young, so like I don't want to assume these things and just let her develop as she develops and like just be supportive, like a real child.
Any choice you want to make, Max.
My favorite character besides Maps was Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole characterization of him.
Visually, he was super cool. I thought.
He just looks like a sweet little cuddly like derpy guy.
I mean, like if you ignore the fact that he killed a bunch of people in the Batman story, but like
when
in
you
this
think
context,
about it,
they're very intentionally treating him as Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's Frankenstein in this. He's a monster who doesn't want to be a monster.
He even looks like a Scooby-Doo design. Like he said, like if he was in Scooby-Doo, like the way he was drawn here, I would buy that. Like he's very like friendly and.
Oh my God, guys. You know they still have Scooby-Doo comics. Scooby-Doo used to team up with Batman all the time. What if the Scooby Gang teams up with the kids at Gotham Academy?
Damn it, man, that's a super top secret. We need to delete this from this podcast.
We're gonna pitch it now. We're gonna pitch it.
Brenden Fletcher, get at me.
You don't write Scooby-Doo.
But he's seen enough episodes to know how it works.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Who's bigger Scooby-Doo and Batman experts than all of us guys?
It's the same thing. You just like something happens, a mystery. The kids go in. It's an old guy with a mask.
Talking about Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God.
That's every episode. Maybe a special guest, like
some child endangerment.
They could have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids, and then these are meddling kids. Like, yeah.
Speaking about Scooby-Doo, just real quickly off topic, I was hearing Ralph Garman talk about a movie on K-Rock.
Oh, the new
He was talking about Scooby-Doo and Kiss, the band.
Oh yeah, that's an animated movie already. Like, there's
oh yeah.
I think like also there was a Flintstones and WWE.
John Cena. Yeah.
This should be a double feature. Have you guys ever seen the movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park?
No, but I won't say.
It's so bad.
That was live action, right?
That one's live action. It's like a Hard Day's Night. It's Kiss and really bad. Yeah.
Hard Day's Night.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a picture? Yeah. No, it's right there.
It looks pretty amazing.
Science officer Chris is showing us pictures.
Yeah.
How did I not know about this?
Yeah. It's well, you know, Kiss. They're shameless in their self promotion and stuff, which I commend them for.
Yeah.
But,
you can't sell out if you're just too busy buying in.
I know we've been a little all over the place with this book. Is there any particular part anybody wants to pinpoint, or it's because it reads. Since it's one giant big mystery, you don't read it.
It's a really well decompressed story with all one through line.
Which is what Fletcher was explaining in the panel, that
they were very intentionally drawn on manga.
And they were just kind of, it's a giant story just continuing versus like Batgirl, that's a bunch of little mysteries,
Or even something like the main Batman title where they'll do like 3 issues about Joker and then move on. This is going to be about these guys for an entire run.
It reminds me of I think it reminds me of the original comparison that they had with X-Men when it first started, where Kurt Busiek said it wasn't necessarily a superhero book, it was like Edith Blyton books, like about kids in a boarding school and they go off on adventures and stuff. And that's what it feels like. It's just this one, each graphic novel, I assume, or trade paperback is going to be like an arc in the grander story of Gotham Academy.
You were even talking about Grayson. I mispronounced things, right? Sorry. But he might make a cameo.
Well, they said they want him to. I don't know if that meant like we're doing it or not. But
yeah, you'd have to find a justifiable reason, because it's one thing to want a cameo, and then like with the way the story has been told, like it's very well told.
He should be the gym teacher.
He'd be gymnastics.
Dad ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad ass.
He gets to wear real short shorts, and everybody knows it's the best thing about Dick Grayson.
It's very it's very child mystery. The book, like,
if you're a fan of Nancy Drew,
it's totally Nancy Drew, like, or Harriet the Spy, or even like Matilda, like a Roald Dahl book.
It does have a
I just realized the brand of soda they drink. It's like berry back.
You mean the soda that anime boy drinks? He's my favorite.
He looks like Tetsuo, that character. He looks like Tetsuo from Akira.
Yeah.
Anime McAnime.
Yeah. And this teacher, I don't remember his name. This professor, he looks like one of the Three Stooges. He looks like Mo.
He does.
He looks the way a lot of people draw Jonathan Crane, like Priest character.
Yeah.
That's what he reminded me of.
That's true. Yeah, especially in like the animated series.
Yeah.
He looks like a lot like him. Their librarian looks like the Riddler. Like
really, a lot of the teachers kind of look like Batman villains, and I wonder if that's intentional.
It feels like
don't forget.
It feels like it's a smaller version of Gotham in a school. Like,
yeah.
And each one, like you were saying, that Olive is like Batman. Each one kind of fits like this archetype within the Batman mythos. And I think like they also look like villains because I think you would compare, at least at this point in time, is this high school or middle school? I
think it's probably supposed to be like 8th through 12th or something.
Because I mean, yeah, like Max is really young, and
if she's only in, maybe she's supposed to be a freshman.
It could be a combination.
It's tough because
I went to public school. I don't know how.
Refreshingly, Karl Kerschl draws kids like kids.
Yeah, and not over.
No one looks 30.
Yeah,
so
they look like their age, but we don't know what age they are. They look like they're 12.
They say that
Olive is older.
Olive and like Kyle and all of them are supposed to be sophomores.
Yeah,
because they've been there for a year. I think the headmaster.
But I could see it like how in terms of an archetype within the Batman universe, like you have your Riddler and the headmaster. He looks a lot like, to me, like Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
And I think when you're growing up, like you think of your teachers in that sense. But if you're not, if you don't have a good, you don't have a good relationship with your teachers, you would think like if they're out to get you, that they are the villains in your personal story. And I thought that if that was the intention, that worked really well. The headmaster, he just looks like he talks like Alan Rickman. Like, welcome to Gotham Academy.
Hello, Alan Rickman. This is Alan
Yippee-ki-yay.
AKA their very, very close to Stitch voice that they're making.
This is the perfect Alan Rickman.
Oh no, you don't know.
Now make Stitch talk a little faster.
That's pretty. Stitch is in the actual studio right now. It's not Matt. Yeah. So I would say like it's a good book. Like, do you have any other thoughts on it? Like,
just everything about it just works really well. Like, it just flows so beautifully.
It's hard to like break it down the way we usually do, just because it's so good as a whole.
This was all released as one issue or like one graphic novel and not broken into a series. I believe
it could. I think it could also been like not even a Batman book. It could have been its own like
in
story.
The best way.
It feels like the Batman stuff and all that. Like, it feels like it's there, but it's not necessary. Like, it could have done without it. Like,
it does add something though, and it gives the story like kind of a context to the world around it. And why these characters think and act the way they do. If you grew up with Batman as an influence, if you grew up in Gotham, Batman would be an influence. You would want to solve mysteries.
It's just like Olive. I was just scanning through the book. Like, anytime she sees the bat light go on, she just hates it. She's just like,
It's almost like she goes into a panic attack.
Yeah.
And it's illustrated like very sensitively, I would say, not like for shock value or anything like that, or insensitively for people who may have almost like PTSD or something. It's handled very sensitively and classy, I think. What is it? Maps looks like, now I remember, she looks like Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah!
It looks like a Miyazaki.
Give her a little black cat.
I can see her being in a Miyazaki movie.
Yeah, like, I think that's where the anime influence kind of like really like shows.
Yeah. I would say the person that I would compare Karl Kerschl to the most is,
there she is, holding a broom.
Yeah, oh yeah. Who were you going to say?
So one of our previous episodes, we talked about how much I love Mike Waringo.
Oh, yeah.
And how I think you're really seeing his influence a lot. I would say
hard eyes. She's not really doing much, but she's doing so much at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think everything complements itself very well. Like the lines, the colors, the words, everything. It just flows so nicely into each other.
Yeah. The other thing I would say about this book is it's almost doesn't read like a DC book. It reads like a Marvel Now book.
Yeah, it does.
I was just about to say when you guys were mentioning that it seems like a Gotham Academy in a little smaller space. Well, not Gotham City.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, kind of like Secret Wars, how they're only inside a little tiny crevice.
Yeah.
Kind of. I just meant more like it reminds me of like the fact that Marvel is taking chances and now DC is kind of catching up and taking them. And this is one of the books I think they've really taken a chance.
I think it's good. I think they should keep taking chances because like
innovation
more interesting. Yeah, it'll become more interesting.
They're finally starting to see that there can be a room for a book like this or like Batgirl, but there can also still be room for something big and epic like Snyder's Batman or like Grant Morrison's Superman stuff.
Yeah. I think do we have any other thoughts? I think we picked it apart from the bones. Like this, it's very dense. Like I would say, but it's also not like a heavy read.
Yeah, you flow through it.
Oh yeah, it's equally as long as our Batman.
Yeah, it's as long as Batman Year 100, I'd say.
I think it's a little shorter, but
because it's not prestige format.
Yeah,
so.
But it's still it's maybe a little shorter, but it's still a hefty read. I would say.
I was able to actually sit down and read it all in one sit.
Yeah, I read it in an hour.
Miraculous for me because
I love how they drew Batman. Like I wish Karl Kerschl would do Batman. Like I was just surprised. Like whoa, like that was
really he could not to like Batman, but like I never would have been like, oh yeah, Karl Kerschl could probably really knock a Batman book out of the park.
Yeah,
I'm like, put him on Batman.
I was surprised not. I was surprised not because I doubted Karl Kerschl at all, just because I didn't expect Batman to show up at all. Like I assumed it was going to be Gotham Academy, and when Batman shows up, it's like it's not necessarily Batman in the context that you would imagine him in, but it's fucking cool. Like
anytime Batman himself appears, though, it does seem like they tend to draw him very not looking a little more malicious. Not malicious, but he's not the villain. He's
very intimidating. Yeah. And he's done in the heavy shadows, which I think is very cool. Like I love those.
It's very Batman.
But also think about it. If you were a young child and looked at Batman, he's scary. Yeah. To a point. Well, children in this world where he actually lives and beats up people and stuff.
I think it varies, but I think considering all his situation, it's more justifiable and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've seen depictions where Batman is treated by children in fear and stuff. Yeah. And I think that's rare. I mean, I know that he is he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He's innocent and stuff, but he understands that he wears what he wears to intimidate, and obviously he'll give the wrong impression to a child and stuff.
Children are also a superstitious and cowardly lot, it turns out.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, in this sense, he's already dealing with Damien, so he knows how children.
But Damien is not a child.
Damien's not a typical child.
He was raised by the League of Assassins premise.
I was to be the next Alexander.
He's the best, and I'm so excited. I know.
I can't wait to see the way that they write him.
Well,
and in the context of other kids.
Yeah.
the second part of this is actually coming out in issues right now.
Yeah, it's in October. The next one's coming out, right? The next trade, or
I'm gonna wait until the next trade comes out because it's really
look when it comes out.
Not stress-inducing, but I get hives and it feels like
I'm too far behind now to give me the single issues, so I just kind of
because
it's so tied together. It's sort of like when people talk. I've never watched it, but when people talk about Lost, and they're like, no, you can't just start a season.
No,
you have to start from episode 1.
Yeah. I mean, you could. This is the problem with comics. That, once the river has started flowing, it's not if you're like me, you have to. I feel the obsessive need to start at the beginning of an arc. Yeah. Because I can't just jump midway because I'm like, no, start already started without me. I'll wait till the next one. Like,
but that's the problem with this is since it's all one complete story, there is no end of the arc. It just keeps going.
But it's good that it's collected and trade. I think. So
like one day there's gonna be an ultimate collection.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna buy it.
And that's, I don't know how Matt in particular, because I'm the same way as you are, Mark, but Matt will easily pick up just something in like the random like 60s and be like, that looks interesting, maybe I'll read it from the beginning. I'm like, nah, I can't, because no.
I think I'm driven a little bit more by visuals. Yeah. So I can just like go like, I really like the visual storytelling in this. I can follow this story. I want to read more, or I don't want to read more.
I think like also like getting into the bigger thing of comics, like I think that more comics, they're not necessarily doing standalone stories anymore. Yeah. It's more that they're creating things for like say something like this, like a trade paperback where you can read it as a whole, the whole arc, and that kind of turns off, like, say, someone like me and Nellii and stuff, and maybe, Chris, do you feel that way? Like, it's hard to just jump on without proper context?
Sometimes I do, but for the most part, I always just try and find something that I can start right away, even if it's just in the middle of something. If I really enjoy it and I want more context, I will go back. But if I
you're like Matt. Yeah. Like,
so it obviously it goes to 50-50.
At least in this
text group.
Yeah, like I think like I usually I'll find like the middle, and like if it's cool, like I am like you, but I find the need to. I
almost always, if I like something, wind up going back. It's only if I hate something, I just don't read more. If I like something, I wind up going back and reading it from the start. And if something is just okay, but I kind of want to keep reading it because like maybe it looks pretty, then I just kind of buy it from there.
No, and in my thing, Matt knows this already. When we go to the comic book store, I'm just like, if it's on issue 4 or something, and I can't find the first beginning half, I'm like, no. Which
not even gonna buy it.
Yeah, I much rather wait and see if the whole like trade comes out, and I'll read it then. But if it already started, I'm just like, nah, the ship has sailed, I can't jump on it now, you know.
Even worse than that, I think when you can't finish it. Like, I have, I found, like, these Mobius comics of Airtight Garage. They're, like, worth, like, $40 each, like, single. I found them, like, for $1. And, I found the first 3, and I couldn't find the 4th one, and this is before I knew, and I looked online, like, $40? Like, I'm never gonna finish this thing. Like, I am not, like, I don't know where the...
Now you have to sell issue 1 and buy issue 4.
I'm still gonna trade and, like, sell the 3.
And that's funny, because that's how we were with Gotham Academy, and both,
we got, like, the first 2 or 3 issues, and I was like, no!
And Batgirl, like, we did that, too, and we're like,
Well, but Batgirl you actually can read that way, because it is...
Exactly,
Some books are written to be that way.
With Brenden Fletcher and Cameron Stewart's Batgirl, like, the Gail Simone run, it was very much an art. Yeah. But I
read that from the start.
Yeah. So. But that one, like, you should, like, check that one out, like, if you get a chance.
And also check out Brenden Fletcher's Batgirl, because it's pretty great.
Like, completely different, but amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Gotham.
So, did you guys like this book, and would you, like, recommend picking it up?
Yes, I liked it, but it wasn't, like, necessarily what I would usually read. I would recommend it, like I said, to someone who isn't necessarily a Batman fan. Yeah. It didn't really, like, gel with me because it's very, like a tween book, like you said. It's a boarding school. Like, it's not necessarily, like, what I would read, but giving it the chance, like, it was really cool, and I want to see where it goes. Especially because Damian came out at the end, so I was like, alright. They got me.
They hooked you.
So, like, they knew what they're... And, like, Killer Croc was cool, so I'd like to see, like, where things... I also have to find out what Olive is, like, her deal, and who's her mom.
Yeah,
it's not, like...
it hooks you no matter what. Like,
it'll hook you. I mean, I can understand, like, for me personally, like, the pushback where it's just like, oh no, man, like, it's not really for me. Like,
it's not necessarily like a thing of like, is it good or bad? It's like, you're gonna like it or you're just not gonna like it. You're never going to be like, oh, this book is badly done. You're just gonna be like, it's
I mean, like,
I can see that.
I rarely say like this book is bad because I've read some bad books, but like usually it's like I have my sensibilities about what I like in terms of stories and stuff. So, you know, everybody has their what they like and what they don't like, or just isn't what is in their area of liking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you guys, like, what did you think?
Maybe it's my background of what I used to read when I was a kid, because I was in the Scooby-Doo fan club, and I used to get a bunch of, like, Scooby-Doo mystery books.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. One, I like manga and anime, and like the cutesy art, which grabs you at first, and then there's all of these, which we didn't even cover all of them, these little tiny hints and just little tiny moments that you're like, oh my god, oh yeah, that's pretty neat, blah blah blah.
It's very dense in terms of like the characterization, I think, and I think it's very like it's if you judge it by its cover, you're gonna think it's a kid book, like, but if you read it, like, it's very like well developed.
The writing flows nicely. It's
very natural too.
Exactly.
Like, they sound like kids. Like, they don't sound like a guy pretending to write like, well, like, you know, like Stan Lee's X-Men. Like, this is what kids talk like.
Well, sir, let me tell you about this.
Hey, mister, let me give you some advice.
I'm a young person.
It's nothing like that.
And just the way they were able to portray such different character traits for different people.
I love the diversity in it.
Exactly.
It's really good.
So to me, it's above and beyond a good read. Like, officially, after I read, like, even just the first book, the first run of it, I was like, yeah, no, this is gonna be right up there with, like, Harley Quinn. I want to collect the variants. I want to collect all of the trades. Like, it's fun for me and entertaining, and I do recommend it for anybody that I know. I knew right off the bat. I was just telling Matt, I was like, I don't feel like this is gonna be Mark's cup of tea. As you can tell, who picked the book this time, but
like, it's not Lando, because for the last 3 episodes, I kind of showed up, even the video, then I showed up about Lando.
I knew it wasn't going to be up his alley, but it's enjoyable enough that he was able to read it and be like, yeah, there's aspects of it I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I'm not like a fanboy, like, where it's just like, well, I mean, like we were talking about last time with the Paul Pope episode.
Oh, yeah.
And how we
it's
not fucking Jim Lee, so I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, like, obviously I have an open mind about these things, and like my tastes are diverse enough, like, you know, but I yeah, like, you're not wrong in your assumptions and stuff like that.
I had more faith.
Yeah.
I disappointed.
No, but like, I liked it. Like, it was cool. But it's not necessarily like what I automatically like go out of my choosing. Like, you'd have to introduce it to me. I think.
And see, your point of view with like the Batman situation, it enhances me wanting to read it more, because I'm such a like Batman fangirl that I'm just like, oh no, I want to see Olive and Bruce Wayne or Batman interact, because it's always neat, and just seeing the point of view of both of their situations with this relationship.
I like the other side, like how do different people view Batman? That's how I saw like that part where Batman finally shows up, where it's just such an interesting thing, because, you know, like we said before, like you can see the view of a criminal, you can see someone who's helped him, but rarely someone that has been destroyed by them who is innocent, like in this sense.
That's always something they always like talk about, like, who are you hurting? And then they never actually show it, and here they do. So that's what that feels like.
You know, so all in all, I'm going to give it 2 giant thumbs up, toes up, everything I can put up, just because I love it, and then there's some maps included, so they got their Scooby-Doo.
I would read a whole issue of maps.
I think that's something that's going to happen.
I'm sure they'll do an annual just based on maps, for sure.
What's going to happen, this is going to happen, it's going to be Damien and Maps team up to something, and I don't care what it is.
It's like a quirky little da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh, and I guess Olive will be there, because like she has fire powers, and she's going to learn how to use them. Damien's going to train her. They're going to be the new Teen Titans.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Gotham Titans.
I really like the book, but I also understand, like, it is not going to be a book that's for everyone. I was skeptical if it was gonna be for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I really wound up liking it. I think it's just so well written and drawn, but I'm just in.
Yeah.
It's watching like a creative team like really swing for the fences.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're clearly
It's
taking a
very
big
original.
chance.
I love that it's such an original thing, especially set in Gotham, because like usually stuff that's set in Gotham, you assume it's tied to the Bat family or the Bat villains, and so it's this third party, which is like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It's original, and like I will champion anything that's original, even when it's like shitty. I'll be like, at least they tried something different.
Yeah.
So it always makes me really happy when it's good.
But to do damage control, he's not saying it's shitty. He's saying he really loves it.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we recommend it.
Pick up the first volume, see if it's for you.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you'll get hooked on the first volume if it's right up your alley.
Or you might just want to get it from the library.
Or
like
check
that's
it
a
out.
worst case scenario.
Check it out on Comixology or digital. Just one issue and see if that's enough to
get a little preview of it.
Yeah, I would say like this is one of the things where you would have to like preview it, I guess, before you like
because it just might not be in your sensibility.
Yeah.
Especially because it's an arc of new characters that you're like,
and it's not super heroics at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much a mystery novel kind of vibe, like a teen mystery,
which is so fun. All right.
So yeah, that's Gotham Academy. Love it. Do we have any like plugs?
Well, it's our favorite time. Time for butt plugs.
So yeah, butt plugs. Are you guys? What are you reading? I think you all know what I'm reading. Lando is number 3. Besides Lando, I just picked up what is it? Over the Garden Wall, the first issue. You guys ever watch that? It was like a mini series on Cartoon Network. It's on Hulu. You can find it on Hulu or CartoonNetwork.com. But it was very like it was kind of like this actually. Like it was this really like weird gothic cartoon like with I think it was someone who also worked on Adventure Time, right? Yes. Yeah. Like it was just a really weird cartoon. Like it was very dark too. Like it was like not necessarily dark where it's like dark, but it had a lot of dark themes. Like they mentioned like the characters, these guys named Greg and Wirt, and they're wandering through this forest, and it's kind of like it looks like they're dying, like they're going to the afterlife and stuff. But it's a really good show. Like it's very like a Tim Burton-y kind of feel and stuff.
I want to watch this so hard now.
Yeah, I want to read this comic.
Like the comic is set after the events of the show. I met some cosplayers that dressed up as them at Anime Expo when I went, and it was right after I just finished watching that show, so that was cool. They were really pretty. I was in love. And I'm also reading Fight Club 2 from Chuck Palahniuk and Jon Stewart, so that's cool. I'm also working on a comic for an anthology for we were at our meeting last week, and right in the middle of it, like, all right guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just got approved, and then like I died.
Yeah, so everybody congratulate Mark.
Yeah. For an anthology, I believe it'll be called Doomsday. It's kind of like a heavy metal type of thing where a bunch of creators will send in their stories. And it's for this comic shop called The Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. It's due the 19th, so I don't think it'll be out by Long Beach Con, but I think it'll be out by Kamikaze. So I'll keep you all posted, so y'all can support it and read it, and then tell me, hey dude, what the fuck is this? Like you're always talking. But yeah, that's it. We're also Matt and I started working on our comics.
Yes. Yes.
Nellii. You're reading Lando?
I am not reading Lando, but I did see it at the comic book store. But
3 episodes already.
I did read the continuation of X-Men 92.
It's X-Force 92.
Yeah, well, no, because I issue 2 I finally read, and then now I'm reading issue 3.
Which is X-Force 92.
Yes.
With Psylocke and Deadpool and everyone.
90s.
Yeah.
I continued reading Miss Deadpool and the ago, there was a new comic I picked up. What was it, Matt?
Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde?
No, not Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde, because I finished that. It's a new DC by the same man that made the Pro, was it Section 8?
Yeah,
there you go.
Three
issues of it.
I read it, it's pretty good.
Yes.
I reading a lot of the same stuff Nellii does. Yeah.
They live together, so they're buddies. They share.
Trying to think of what I've read that you guys haven't already said here. I'm reading, as always, you're always reading Lando. I'm still reading Scott Snyder's Batman.
That one is really cool. That one is really cool.
Next Batman is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you did get Grant Morrison.
Oh, I just picked up 18 Days by Grant Morrison, where he's drawing a lot on like Indian mythology. It's pretty great. And he does a good job of like
respecting the mythology.
What's the like opposite of appropriation is
celebration,
like celebration or like learning from it.
Well, yeah, because he's involved with an Indian publisher.
Yeah, they came to him and they said like, "What do you know about our culture?" And he's like, "Here's what I know." And they're like, "Here's even more." Yeah. And it shows in the book. Yeah, because none of it feels like.
Oh yeah, this guy's really, Indian. He's in Shiva, and like he can kill people.
I mean, there is some of that.
Yeah.
Oh hell, Grant Morrison, our guy.
But it's really, I think it's on the second issue. I think.
I just got the first issue behind. But
only do the second issue.
Science Officer Chris, are you reading anything?
Yeah, I'm reading She-Hulk: Law and Disorder by Charles Soule.
Yeah, he writes Lando.
We've come full circle.
I have that one. Which is weird because I'm your brother and like we should be sharing the things.
I got mine from the library.
Okay.
Trust me, sharing is hard sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
I have every time I let Matt borrow my comic books, I'm like, do not bend it, do not nothing. Yeah, well, because I collect my everything, and he's real bad about.
I'm more on the reading, not on the like collecting side. So I mean, like, whatever happens to your comics happens to you.
I am in the middle. Like, I do collect stuff to read them. Yeah. But I don't want them damaged. Like,
I bag and board all my like floppy issues.
Wow.
No, even the full, like my floppy issues, I take like decent care of. But like my like trade paperbacks, I'm just like whatever. They're books.
I put them on the shelf and stuff, like aesthetically like aligned by height.
I do have something to butt plug in. Our YouTube channel. We are starting to put more content.
By this time, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. We will have, what is it? We had our amazing Fan Four Stick, fantastic.
Oh, everything about the Fantastic Four movie is amazing.
Well, you know.
My video editing was amazing.
It was pretty. It was pretty. And our fantastic.
Our camera.
We also did announce our winner there as well and answered some fan questions.
John Lance Duran. Runners up were Charlene Spencer and I apologize to him personally, Tony Bartoloni. I misspelled his name.
Tony Will it ease the pain if we say he was slightly drunk?
Yeah, that's what I edited while drunk.
Attorney.
Yeah. His name, no, I spelled it right.
Rigatoni.
He's a really funny comedian. We've done shows together. Like
you ever want to see how I draw Mark?
I did do that.
But yeah, there is that, and we will have footage of by this time probably of our Long Beach con that will be there.
Our video, our tentatively scheduled video, which will have gone on before this one.
And just so you know, I know Long Beach Comic Con will have already passed, but if you go to any of the other comic conventions and you've spotted us there, don't forget to whisper the magic word.
Buttholes.
And we'll give you a sticker. And if you yell it at us, we'll give you 2 stickers.
Yeah, or shout it to us in the street, like, just because. Yeah.
Just anytime you see any of us.
Yeah,
we pretty much always have them in our
by this time, we're world famous, and you have to
By worlds, we mean, like, our neighbors down the street that hear us actually talk.
Yeah, but no, the world. We're on our moon base right now, watching all of you. I am now Dr. Doom. I've achieved my dream.
Maniacal
Yeah, so follow us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Graphic Ramblers. You can find us at Graphic Ramblers on Facebook, Twitter, which is Ramblers Graphic because somebody stole the name, or
Instagram, we're still at
Instagram, SoundCloud, Tumblr, Podomatic. If you go to our Tumblr, you can go to the search bar and search anything that we've done so far. That's where we archive our videos and our episodes.
And don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the show and all the other stuff we're doing, check out our Patreon where you can donate to get some cool prizes and help us be able to afford to keep it going.
Yes, and do more things like Drunk Mark comic recaps.
And then all of us getting drunk and doing live shows where you can come and like meet us and ask us questions about a book that we read.
Yes, and don't forget to tweet us, email us. That's graphicramblers@gmail. Tweet us, email us, send us on Facebook, whatever.
Instagram us photos.
DM us if you're into that. No dick pics, please. We've had plenty of those. But yeah, like you can tweet us like whether requests to do books or questions where we'll answer your fan questions, whether it's comic book facts or just our opinions on things. Like in our Fantastic Four video, we talked about diversity in comics and what is the Speed Force, which those two went completely great, and then we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Can you get some photos?
Also, I wanted to thank all of you guys for all of your support. It's been
amazing,
ridiculous.
After the last video or the Fantastic Four, at this point in the recording, we got a huge amount of followers across all of our media, and that was really nice. So we hope you enjoy and support, be it through Patreon or your listening loveliness.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you guys haven't caught on, you do have a name to us. You are our Gramblers.
Yes, the Ramblers. That was my fault. Also, I'd like to thank Atoma Fox for providing us with their theme song.
Yes.
So go check them out. Google them. They're on Facebook.
They're so good. I've been listening to their music.
They're on Spotify. They are really good.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Anna. She's really nice. We went to her girlfriend's birthday party on Friday and got really drunk.
Nice.
You can see the pictures on Instagram. So yeah, follow us across all the social media. Follow us in real life, not into the bathroom or into our homes without permission.
Yeah.
Consent is key, folks. It's very important. So yeah, that's is that all? Is that a wrap, as they say?
I would like to see if we can wrap this up.
Yeah. All right.
We are the Graphic Ramblers.
Signing out. Yeah.
#Magnon. How big is Nelly's love of buttholes? How big is Matt's boner for Brenden Fletcher? Will the Graphic Ramblers ever get better sound equipment? Find out next time on the Graphic Ramblers. Dude, that's it. I'm done. I am too sick to do this again.